The easiest thing in the world for me to do, and certainly many of my friends and political advisors have said, why don't you just go out there and say what everybody else is saying? But I think you know me well enough, Don, over the many years. I'm not going to pander. We can put our heads in the sand and pretend that this conversation is not taking place around the state. Senator Panaccio, a Republican, has put a bill in to not only have casinos in North Jersey, but to have them in Monmouth, Freehold, on all the racetracks. And no doubt that there will be forces who say, well, we want in too. And then you would have the Pennsylvania model with casinos surrounding us in counties nearby, which would be even that much more devastating to Atlantic City. Let me make it very clear. I'm not in favor of casinos in North Jersey. I wish we didn't have to have this conversation.
Do you feel, though, like they seem to feel that even having any conversation deters somebody from investing here, and there are some people who are looking into it? I would think they're well aware of this conversation by now.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not like if I stop talking about it or we stop talking about it here, that Senator Panaccio is going to drop his bill, or that the Chamber of Commerce up in Burton.
Or Lesniak's going to give up.
Announce plans on the Meadowlands. I mean, this is taking place. By the way, and I'm not at liberty to identify who, I've been working very, very hard with potential investors to come into Atlantic City, reaching out to them, trying to get them here, and maybe some will, maybe some won't, maybe none will. But I recognize that responsibility. That's part of what we do, and I've done that my whole public career. But the notion that I want casinos in North Jersey, I'd love to not have casinos in North Jersey. But as I said a minute ago, when you have the Senate President and the Governor both saying, let's have this conversation, I don't need all the bricks to fall on my head. I just need a couple. And the easiest thing for me, Don, would be to just go along with everybody and pretend that these conversations aren't taking place in North Jersey and hip, hip, hooray. We're going to fight this, we're going to fight this, we're going to fight this. I mean, people run around. I've been attending some of these workers' rallies to try to support these workers, and people say, we're going to get your jobs back. No, we're not. No, we're not. I mean, I'm not going to lie to people. I recognize the frustration that everyone feels. We are in for a couple of years of pain. And when we have some things that come on board, like the Bass Pro Shop, or like the new restaurant over in those are, a couple hundred jobs. God bless them. We welcome them. But we are losing 8,000 jobs.
And we may gain back a couple of thousand at the most, right, of those jobs that are lost?
Well, if we get fortunate enough, and again, I've had conversations with people regarding Rebel and Showboat and Hard Rock, or rather Trump Plaza. Maybe one of those reopens as a casino, and you pick up several thousand jobs there. It would be a great benefit, to those people who just lost jobs and so on. But the notion that we can pass some bill in the legislature and that's going to make everything okay, frankly, some of the bills that have been proposed would be a disincentive for investment. And you put a bill in that says you want to sell your property and you have to do it with full transparency. What business is going to invest in that? I mean, no business is going to come in and say, okay, let me see, if I buy this business and down the road I want to sell it, as soon as I sell it, everything I do has to be transparent to the public. That's not going to happen. These major investment houses, whether they're hedge funds or Wall Street firms or what have you, and the major, in our case, the industry, casinos and hotels and so on, they're buyers and sellers. They're not going to operate in that kind of environment.
How about the deed restrictions, Senator? How about the deed restrictions? Can't we work
Don,
something?
I've spoken out on the deed restrictions. I was the first one. You pointed out the other day. I was the first one to speak out on the deed restrictions.
That was with Caesars. You were taking issue with.
I'm absolutely opposed to putting deed restrictions in.
Well, that can be worked, right? I see where Chris Brown is got some legislation on that, right?
I haven't seen the bill. It's certainly something that we'll look at. But are we closing the barn door after the horse has gone out? I mean, you already have deed restrictions at Claridge and at Atlantic Club, and will Showboat have been sold by the time we can get around to enacting the legislation? But again, I mean, I sent a letter and I asked Chris Brown to sign it with me, which he did, to the commission with a copy to the division to say, in part, what are we doing about deed restrictions here? Is this economic concentration? Caesars has 40% of the market. Now they're deed restricting other properties. So I think that is an issue we can look at. But again, let's not think that if we lift a deed restriction at Atlantic Club, it's going to reopen as a casino. Is the Clyde's going to come back as a casino if we lift the deed restriction? I don't see that